Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today we are getting into some fragrances. I have been organizing my fragrance sample collection into scent categories. So today we're going to focus on 3 scent subcategories, I guess I'll call it. I'm doing a ranking of my fresh earth fragrances, my deep earth fragrances, and my wood fragrances. Let's get into it. I have 11 fresh earth samples to rank. I have 3 deep earth samples and 6 wood samples. So we have quite a few things to get through, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts, the fragrance notes, and what order I think they should be in from what I like least to what I like most. Now you'll notice I said samples. I am new to the fragrance world. I'm getting to develop my nose through trying a bunch of different things, and I simply do not want to go out and purchase full-size bottles yet. So I have a bunch of samples and they are random. Sometimes I just receive samples through buying things. Sometimes I seek out certain samples and buy them. So it's just a mishmash of what I have. There's no real strategy when I'm buying things. It's just, oh, something I've heard of that I might like, so I picked it up. No real organization here, but let's start with the 11 fresh earth category fragrances that I have, and I will share with you the notes, mostly from the internet. The Fragrantica, whatever it's called, it's like an encyclopedia of fragrances that tells you what people think the notes are in there, and I think it's a pretty good website to give you the basic gist of what's in a fragrance, what family they're in. Yeah, so let's get started in fresh earth, and this category I kind of think is probably your basic earth fragrances. They're not too deep, and they don't really fit into any other category, and overall they probably smell a little more fresh, but on the earthy side is the best way I can describe it. So let's start with number 11. I have Escentric Molecule 03, and this one is number 11 for me because I prefer stronger scent, and the Escentric Molecules collection, the molecule version, it's just a 1-note fragrance, and for me, I want my fragrances to be a little bit bolder. Some of the molecules I cannot really smell, others I can smell a little bit better. This is one of the ones I can actually faintly smell. I don't have the best nose. I have always congestion. I'm a mouth breather, unfortunately. But this one is vetiver acetate. Vetiveryl acetate is the note in it, and it is a natural root and a synthetic fragrance. It's nice. It's just not projecting enough for me, and I know some people prefer this. I just do not. So that's number 11 for me. Number 10 is Diptyque Eau de Menthe. This is their mint fragrance, and I heard really good things about this one, but for me, I do not love the scent of this one. I think it starts out worse and it ends up a little bit better on the dry down, but I'm just not a fan of the mint in this one. So the top notes are mint, nutmeg, the middle notes are geranium and rose, and the base is patchouli. It smells very clean, and you'll know, obviously the notes in here are running a little bit earthy. I just don't think I love the beginning notes of it. It's just a little bit much for me, and I'm not really a fan. Number 9 is Sisley Eau de Soir, but this one, it's a bit strong, it's a bit much, and it's a bit soapy for me. This one has top notes of mandarin, grapefruit, and pepper. The middle notes are syringa, jasmine, rose, ylang ylang, lily of the valley, iris, juniper, clove. I think that you could consider this as unisex. I think it's a little bit too soapy for me. I think maybe men will be like this one as well as women, but I don't know. Something about it I'm not a fan of. The base notes are musk, amber, oak moss, patchouli, and cistus. I mean, on paper, it should be great. It's got that, like, Irish Spring vibe to me. I don't know why. Number 8 for me, another Escentric Molecules. One of their new ones, the M Plus line. It's M Plus Patchouli. This one isn't bad. This is just ISO E Super Plus Patchouli. It's got a nice earthiness to it. It's just not, like, mind-blowing, very exciting to me. So I put it kind of more in the middle to the end of the pack. Next one I have is the Labo Noir 29. I got a sample of this. Now that I smell it on the dry down, it's not bad. It's just not like blowing my socks off. The top notes are fig, bay leaf, bergamot. Middle notes are cedar, vetiver, musk. Top notes are tobacco and hay. There's just, I don't know, something about this one that just, it's a little bit boring. That was number 7. On to number 6, Chanel Belle Respiro. This one surprised me. I got this with a sample with a makeup order. So this is number 6. I put this at the middle of the pack because I don't actually have really any Chanel fragrances. And I thought this was going to be really feminine because I thought, I don't know, all Chanel fragrances are super floral. I don't know why I thought that. But when I smelled this, I was like, oh, this is quite, you know, unisex, earthy, not really what I expected. I think it's nice. I think the notes in here are pleasing. It's very green, so it has green notes, grass, gabanum, and rosemary. I don't know that I'm in love with these kinds of notes, but it's not too soapy. It's a nice balance. I think if you were to compare all the Chanel fragrances, I don't know that this would be at the top, but I was surprised by Belle Respiro. Number 5, I have a Diptyque fragrance, L'Ombre dans l'eau. There's something really beautiful about this one. I think that's why I put it at number 5. It's got a nice blend of not too earthy, a little bit floral, a little bit citrus. It does a lot of things, and I think it smells really great. I could see myself liking a body wash in this. Yeah, it's a nice blend and overall very earthy, but a fresh earth, a floral earth. I mean, this could go in other cat families, but I think it's a nice earth. Overall, it's more earthy to me than anything else. So the notes in this one are cassis, rose, black currant, bergamot, ambergris, musk, mandarin orange. It's a nice one. For sure. Number 4, I have Escentric Molecules 03. This is an interesting one because I always forget what's in here. This is very like a crisp earth. I think it fits perfectly in this category. You may argue this is more on the fresh side than earth. It has a little bit of a punch to it. This has vetiver, acetate, ginger, lime peel, green peppercorn, orris, jasmine, tea notes, sandalwood, cedar, and musk. So a lot more of the like citrusy vibes going in here, but also some wood, a little bit of floral. But overall, I think it's a nice fresh earth. Coming in at number 3 is Diptyque Tam Dao. I've received multiple repeat samples of this one. And I don't know if I'm like not a super earth fan, but I like the blend of this one. It's just got some really just kind of smoothing and calming qualities to me. So I put this in the 3rd spot. The top notes are Italian cypress, myrtle, rose. The middle notes are sandalwood and cedar. And the base is rosewood, spices, amber, and white musk. I just think this combination, I don't know why, it just really appeals to me. You know, it's not going to be the most in-your-face fragrance, but I think of all the Diptyque samples that I own, I think this would probably be in the top spot that I would want to get like a full-size bottle. Now I love Diptyque candles, but for me there hasn't been like a fragrance that I have tried from them surprisingly that I'm like, oh, I want that. But I think this one is really up there. It's just relaxing to me. I don't know, there's not a lot of fragrances out there that smell relaxing, but this is one of them, tam down. Number 2 for me is from Etat Libre d'Orange, and this is Fat Electrician, a popular scent from the brand, and this is a unisex. Some women may not want to wear this, but it's a really nice, kind of a light, earthy fragrance, more on the fresh side. And it to me, this is very different from all the other samples that I have, and that it's super light. It's not like dirty or too grassy. It's kind of that wafty, airier green note. It has vetiver, whipped cream, marron glace, I don't know what that is, olive leaf, vanilla, myrrh, and opoponax, which I've heard of before. Some of you may think this one may not quite fit into this family, but I think it's not overly like vanilla or sweet or anything like that. Like, to me, more of the earthy notes do come out, but they're really light. So I really like this one. I think it's really pleasant. Number 1, also from the same brand as number 2, Etat Libre d'Orange. This is You or Someone Like You. I didn't love this at first. I think in my like sample video of all the discovery set, I think I said I didn't want to get this one. I eventually got a full size because it wasn't like a love at first sight, but after a couple tries, a couple sniffs, I ended up really liking it. Now, I have to say I have noticed this brand doesn't last on my skin very long. Like, I don't get lots of wafts of it throughout the day. It just, maybe just a little bit, but not as much as other fragrances. But, you know, it's priced well enough that you can keep spraying throughout the day. But this one, there's something so different about it. I don't have a lot of fresh fragrances in my collection yet, and I wanted to add this one because I really enjoy it. I know that sounds really basic, but it was different enough to me. I haven't smelled something like this before that it stood out, that I was like, I should just get it, because I keep going back to it, and there's just something really interesting in here that kind of got me hooked. So the top notes are mint, grapefruit, bergamot, and star anise. Middle notes are green, cassis, rose, hedoine. Base notes are a white musk. I just think this is so wearable, everyday, office appropriate. It's not going, and I think people will think you smell good if you like spray it on, you know, pretty recently. But it's not going to offend too many people. You could put this in the more just basic fresh category. It's not overly earthy. You do have some citrus in here, but to me, because of the mint stands out quite a bit, I put this in the fresh earth, and it's a nice clean earthy smell. So that is out number 1, and that rounds out my 11 ranking, my ranking of my 11 fresh earth samples. I think I mentioned a few that I would really consider picking up. But yeah, let's move on to my next category. The next 2 families, I have a lot less to choose from, so this part should go rather quickly. Alright, so next category I have is Deep Earth, and I really only have 3 fragrances in this group. And I could have put it in Fresh Earth, but to me these were a little bit different, that I put them in their own little subcategory. My third pick is Akro Haze. I recently discovered Akro. I love it. I love the concept of it. And Haze wasn't like my top choice, like to get a full-size bottle, but I do really like it. But comparing it to these other 2, I did put it in the 3rd spot. And this one, I think what I like most about it is the hint of that marijuana scent. You smell it mostly right away, like that first spray, like, ooh, that smells familiar. Not something I really want to wear necessarily, but I do enjoy the scent of it. And this is definitely, I think, in the more rich earth. We're getting a little bit more dirty and gritty and a little bit stronger of a plant smell. So this one has absinthe, mint, eucalyptus, clary sage, leather, and patchouli. It gets better as a dry down, like it's not as sharp or as like richly planty. I think it's enjoyable enough if you like these notes. I think you might be surprised by that marijuana smell, but it does kind of like drop a little bit. It's not super prominent. I think if you enjoy like the deep earthy smell, I think you should try Akro, and you should try their other fragrances too. It's a unique collection. Number 2, an interesting one. This is from Louboutin, Loubicrown. Christian Louboutin, he makes shoes, but they also have like their Loubi World fragrances, and this is one of them. This is Loubicrown. And this one is not, it's like a richer earth scent, but it's got like tonka bean in it, so it's a little bit sweet, so I think it's more balanced and appealing. So I put it at the number 2 spot. It has patchouli, cedarwood, tonka bean. It's really pleasant, but this one definitely had a more earthy vibe than the other ones in the Loubi World collection. This one out of the 3 is a little bit more feminine leaning, that if you're feminine, you know, a woman, and you like earthy fragrances, out of the pack you might like this more than the other 2, just because it's a little bit less edgy, but you do have those strong earth notes. Number 1, I heard so much about this fragrance that I had to get a sample, even though like I got a tiny amount and it was super expensive. My number 1 pick for deep earth is Nasomatto Block Afgano. I really like it. I have worn it, and I definitely get good wafts throughout the day. It's so strong. It comes in this black liquid. I don't know that I would pick up a full bottle of this just because it's a little bit too weedy. But if you like this weed cannabis smell, it's really nice. It's not like a smoky, burnt, skunky smell. It's more of like a weed smell before, you know, before you smoke it. So it's like very earthy and nice. It is strong. Some say Nasomatto's formula has changed. It's not as good as it used to be. I don't know. I never smelled it before. And some people think the performance isn't as good, but I think it's good enough. Definitely something worth sampling and trying out. It's like really addicting smell for sure. And that's why I put it at number 1, because it's so different. It's iconic. It's just, you can't like not smell this if you're into fragrance, I think. So the notes are cannabis, green notes, resins, tobacco, coffee, oud, incense. It's all of that. It's wonderful. You have to try this. I know, like, there's so many videos on this one. Everyone kind of wants to comment on it because it's so different. And I put it at number 1 because it is so unique. Alright, so that's our deep earth. Not a lot to talk about there. I probably do need to pick up some more deep earth, but I think for me, deep earth scares me a little bit because some of those really green, prominent plants, it's just a little bit much for me. So it's not like my favorite category, to say the least. My next category is wood, and some of these choices you may not agree with that they really belong in this category, and some of these I was a little bit confused about where it should go, so I apologize if you don't agree. But we have 6 to talk about. Some of these are really popular and some a little bit less. So let's get into wood. My number 6 pick is from BDK Parfums Gris Charnel. I don't know why I picked this one up. I think this is one of their most popular fragrances from BDK. I don't have a lot left. What I don't like about this one in particular is it's really light. I think overall it kind of gives a little bit of a woody vibe, but there's a lot going on mixed in this one. It's kind of a sweet, it's very like a neutral fragrance. It's not like gonna like excite you. I think it's really smooth, but it's a little bit lackluster to me. I was surprised that this one is famous for whatever reason or popular. It just kind of like lays a little bit flat for me. So I put Gris Charnel at number 6. It has top notes of cardamom, fig, black tea, middle notes of iris, bourbon, vetiver, base notes of sandalwood and tonka bean. So on paper, you know, it should be really good, right? A little bit more I would like. Number 5, I have Maison Louis Marie Bois de Balincourt. Number 4, I actually have the fragrance oil. I have a little roller, and I got this at Sephora mostly because it is a dupe for Santal 33, Le Labo. This is what it looks like. The fragrance oil I got because it's nice and tiny. I just wanted to try out the scent without buying like a full bottle. I think it is a pretty good dupe for Santal 33. Not exactly the same, or I don't know, I like Le Labo better, but this isn't a bad dupe. I also got the candle in this, which I thought was okay. Not quite the same smell as the fragrance oil. This is an overall sandalwood heavy fragrance. It has cedar, vetiver, nutmeg, cinnamon, wood, and amber. I think this is a nice kind of really classic scent. Some of you may think it's a little bit boring, but it has a nice like muskiness to it that mixes well with the sandalwood. But I put it at number 5 because it's not like my favorite out of all of these. Number 4 is a brand that I want to try more of, at least a couple more fragrances. This is Jardin Sandalwood Temple. This one I put kind of at the middle. It does have, you know, sandalwood in it, but there's a lot of sweetness going on to kind of round it out. I say overall it's got a wood scent, but it's like a sweet wood. It is really nice. It's not like a super strong, overwhelming fragrance. It has bergamot, neroli, orange blossom, cedar, sandalwood, vanilla, vetiver, and some kind of wood. Starts with a G, guaiac. I don't know what that is. It's one of those ones that you could probably fit in another category, maybe a sweet category or a citrus, but it's called Sandalwood Temple. It does have a couple woods in here. It makes it like really kind of a mellow fragrance because of all the mixes in here of like sweet and wood. It's a nice combo. It's not like, you know, the most exciting wood fragrance that I have or like overwhelmingly woody, but it has a nice balance to it for sure. Number 3, I have Tom Ford Oud Wood. You might think, well, does this belong in the oud category? I would say that oud wood smells really good, but to me it smells more woody than oudy. Not something I would necessarily want to pick up a full bottle, I don't think, because I already have Oud Mineral. But I do think this smells good. I think this is a nice masculine scent. But anyone of course can wear any fragrance. I do see this as a very like sexy kind of male fragrance that I enjoy. I enjoy smelling it for sure. Not on me, but like on others, I think it smells really good. So it has agarwood, rosewood, cardamom, Sichuan pepper, sandalwood, vanilla, vetiver, tonka bean, and amber. It's a nice combination. It's an iconic scent, very popular. There's been some changes with Tom Ford's formulas over the years, but people say it's not as good. I don't know, whatever. Oud Wood is number 3 for me. Number 2, you might be surprised. You might wonder why this isn't at number 1 for me, but it is Le Labo Santal 33. I picked this up when Barney's was going out of business, right at the beginning of the pandemic last year. And this was a blind buy. Never smelled it before. I was like, you know what? It's on sale. I'm going to get it. Deeply discounted. This is 50 milliliters and I love it. Haven't used a whole lot of it, obviously, but I think for me, it's, even though this is supposed to be like mostly a sandalwood scent, I think what I like about it is that I can't place the scent very well. To me, it's not overwhelmingly woody or anything like that. When I think of this fragrance, I think of walking into a fancy department store and the overall scent when you go into one of those nice stores is not like carpet cleaner or soap or chemicals. It just has this light fragrance to the store that is clean, but it smells good, and there's some muskiness to here that I really like, and I just love it. I mean, I know this is overhyped, a lot of people wear it, so if you don't want to be like everyone else, don't get this, but it's just one of those perfect gender neutral, nicely formulated scents to me. In my opinion, I think it's good. So it has sandalwood, pyrus, leather, cedar, cardamom, violet, iris, and amber. I think if anything, you should at least try it, smell it, to kind of get a reference point for this one because it's talked about a lot. Now my number one scent, you may disagree that it really belongs in this category and you're probably really bored about hearing about this one, but I'm sorry, I think it's the most unique and best of the bunch, and I don't really know where to place it, but I put it here because I think a lot of people consider this a wood fragrance. This is Maison France's Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540. I can't say the last name, so sorry. We'll just say MFK Baccarat Rouge 540. And what I like about this one the most is probably the opening notes more than anything. I love like that cotton candy powderiness that comes with it. I think that's just so addicting, and men and women can wear it. I think a lot of women like this one. I just love the combination of notes. I think it's really nice and unique, and it has saffron, jasmine, fir resin, amberwood, ambergris, cedar. I kind of like the sweet notes in it, so maybe this doesn't belong in the wood section, but it does have some woods in it. You gotta try this fragrance out. I think it's popular for good reason. There's something about it that makes it really addicting. I have several samples of it, and I actually have a dupe for it from Alexandria Fragrances called Interplay Extrait. It's not quite, it's got the spirit of Baccarat Rouge, but it's got the spirit of it. It's not a bad dupe for it. I think it smells pretty good. It's got some similar qualities to it for sure. It's definitely an option, but I'm sure a lot of companies dupe this one because it's so popular. Anyways, that is my ranking for the wood fragrances that I have. Please let me know your thoughts on these categories. What are your top picks? What am I missing out on? What do I need to try based on like my rankings? What do you think I will like? I think fragrances have been really fun for me, even though I don't always get a lot of views. This is kind of like a nice ongoing little side project for my channel, and I'm really getting to learn my nose, even though I don't have the strongest nose. I'm just like love exploring all that's in this world. I think it's really interesting. And I love like there's like a common vocabulary with fragrance people in the videos. I think it's so interesting. And I'm sorry if I butcher any of this. I'm pretty new, so please forgive me. But yes, I'm really curious as to your thoughts on these categories and what your favorites are. Please comment below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe. I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.